Okay, let's look at a lot of the chords we've done up to this point are triads or three notes. In the case of a major and a minor, you know, we're talking the root, the third, and the fifth note of the scale. Or in the case of a minor, we're lowering that third. We're making it a flatted third. So it's the root, a flatted third, and the fifth, you know, remains the same. Okay, and that has that melancholy sound. But there are some chords that are four notes. Okay, and one of those is called a major seventh. So a major seventh is basically the major chord. In this case, we'll play a C. Okay, and we're going to add the seventh note of the scale. And again, looking at the scale of the key of C, it's all these white notes, so it's very easy for us to figure out where the seventh note of the scale is. 1 being the C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and it's convenient because now, okay, we've added that seventh to the C major, and it adds some, you know, kind of a jazzy sound to it. So a major seventh, okay, again, is a major chord with that seventh added. And if we want to kind of get familiar with the buffers from the root, the buffers being the number of notes between each key that you have pressed down, with a major chord, it's 3, 2, okay, and 3. All right, so it's 3, 2, 3, and that's a major seventh. All right, pretty simple. Let's do it in another. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's a G major seventh. Okay, doing the G major with 3, buffer of 2, now a buffer of 3. Okay, so we have to play that black key. There's a little bit of a reach, so you may have to slide up in between these black keys a little bit. Okay, but that is the seventh note of the G scale. Okay, without me even having to know all the notes of the scale and the numbers. If I remember, you know, a major chord is the root, buffer of 3, buffer of 2, and to make it a major seventh, there's another buffer of 3, and I add that note. Another way to think of it is the seventh of any scale is going to be one note lower than the octave. Okay, this is a G, all right? That's a G. It's in the same position. It's between this first and second black key, so that's a G. So the seventh for a major seventh would be one note lower, so it would be right there. So, and after a while, you'll kind of get the spacing of the fingers, and the more and more you play, because it really becomes infectious. But that's a major seventh, and again, that's a C major seventh, a G major seventh, and let's do a D major seventh. Okay, let's do the D major. The seventh, we have to have a buffer of 3, and it's that one up there, which is one note lower than the D up here. So there's a couple different ways you can know you're in the right place. Plus you can hear it, and you sort of get that spacing. And at first you're kind of stretching that pinky, but that's why the C major seventh is nice and easy. And actually the F major seventh is the same. You know, it's that same spacing, okay, because that's an F major chord. It's the F, it's a third, and the fifth, and the seventh. Again, the major chord has buffer 3, buffer of 2, buffer of 3 for the major seventh. Okay, so that's the F major seventh. So you're kind of adding more chords. these are 4 note chords, major 7ths. Now there are minor 7ths. Okay, now minor 7th is a little bit different. Let's look at a D minor. Okay, since it's an easy chord to play. Being a minor, you have the root and you have a buffer of 2 and a buffer of 3. Okay, so that's a D minor. Okay, the minor 7th, instead of a buffer of 3, you know, to go up there, you're actually going to play what we call a flatted 7th, 1 note lower than the 7th. But it might be easier just to understand the spacing. Okay, again, the minor is going to have buffer of 2, buffer of 3, buffer of 2. Okay, buffer of 2, buffer of 3, buffer of 2. That's a D minor 7th. So when you have the minor 7ths, it's buffer of 2, buffer of 3, buffer of 2. Okay, a major 7th is the major. It's going to have a buffer of 3, buffer of 2, buffer of 3. Some are easier to play than others at first. An A minor 7th is easy to play because it's the A minor. All right, buffer of 2, buffer of 3, buffer of 2. Comfortable. A minor 7th. Okay, what's this? Buffer of 3, buffer of 2, buffer of 3. That's a major 7th. C major 7th. Okay. What is this? It's a D minor 7th. It's a minor because it's buffer of 2, buffer of 3, and a buffer of 2 makes it the D minor 7th. Okay. So that 7th. When you say a major 7th or a minor 7th, that 7th is different, or the location of it, because a D major 7th is a D major chord, okay, and that's the 7th. But for a minor, you have to flat the 7th and flat the 3rd. So you may not know the names of, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the number of the scale, but just get used to these spaces. And, as long as the spaces are the same in this combination, just look at the root, and then you can play that same, have that same spacing anywhere else. If this is a D minor 7th, we have 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2 as far as the buffers, the spaces. Let's play a G minor 7th. 2, 3, 2. Okay, that's a G minor 7th. Okay, so everything is relative. Where on a guitar, to play a G minor 7th and a D major 7th, all these different chords. It's real. A lot of them are very challenging, where you really can't do it. Here, everything is really within, the 12 notes. The 12 notes that you're working with, and you're either pushing 3 of them down or 4 of them down. And as you get advanced, there's even chords that are 5 notes. This is an A minor 7th, and I need 2 hands to do this, but I add that's actually the 9th, and that's an A minor 9th, but there's actually 5 notes in that. But work on the chords that are 3 notes, and then which is just the major chord and the minor chord, and then you can work on the major 7th and the minor 7th, which have 4 notes in them. That's it. Good luck.